So today we're going to dive into a pretty radical new economic model. It's one designed to flip our entire global system away from extraction and towards regeneration. It's called ZYRO HIVE, and at its heart is this fascinating idea called quadrangular completion, which is basically the principle that you create real lasting value by balancing four key dimensions of our world. We're going to break down exactly what that means.
Okay, so here's the roadmap. First, we need to really understand the problem we're dealing with, our current extractive economy. Then, we'll get into ZYRO HIVE's incredible solution, what they call the multiplier effect. After that, we'll dig into how they actually prove this new value is real. And finally, we'll zoom out to see what the blueprint for a whole new economy could look like.
Right, so before we can even talk about a solution, we have to get our heads around the problem. And according to the source material for this, the sheer scale of that problem, well, it can be boiled down to a single, pretty shocking number.
That number you see there, 0.36, that represents the global value-to-debt ratio. So think about what that means for a second. For every $1 of value we create, our global economy has piled on almost $3 in debt. We're not really growing. We're just borrowing from the future at a rate that's, completely unsustainable. And if you want to see that in cold, hard cash, well, it looks like this. $305 trillion in global debt has only managed to generate about $110 trillion in GDP. The folks behind this research have a word for that, and it is not growth, it's extraction. The system is literally eating more value than it's creating.
So how in the world do you reverse that? This is where we get to the absolute core idea behind ZYRO HIVE. See, it's not about just paying back the debt. That's just a one-for-one deal, getting you back to zero. The real goal here is to create more value than the liability you started with, to kick off a positive multiplier effect. And this is the fundamental shift in thinking. It's moving away from just canceling out a negative, from just getting back to even. Instead, you use that starting point to launch a positive, cascading chain reaction, one that creates new value that grows geometrically, not just one step at a time. So how does this actually work? Well, it happens in three phases. It all starts with direct value unlocking, which gives you a nice little 1 to 2 times multiplier. But then things get really interesting. A completion field emerges. Now, think of this like when different regenerative projects start to connect and help each other out, creating this synergy that just dramatically boosts the multiplier. And finally, as the whole system gets bigger, you get that powerful network effect we all know, where the value can multiply by 10 times or even more.
Okay, creating trillions in theoretical value sounds great, but for any of this to be real, you have to be able to measure it, to prove it. And that's where the economic engine of the whole system comes in, something called the regenerative value proof, or RVP.
And listen, this is a crucial distinction. An RVP is not like a carbon credit, which just measures something bad you didn't do. No, an RVP is a verifiable geotagged proof that a positive regenerative action actually happened out there in the real world. It's a measured, verified unit of positive creation. So when we talked about quadrangular completion, what does that really mean? It means we're looking at value across these four quadrants. It's not just about environmental value, like restoring a forest. It's also about social value, like making a community stronger. It's operational value, making a system run better. And yes, even direct financial value. In this model, a truly regenerative act creates a positive ripple across all four of these areas. And this is what makes the whole thing spin. It's a value flywheel. When an RVP is sold, a full 98% of its value goes directly back to the people or the project that did the regenerative work. Only a tiny 2% is taken as a metabolic fee to keep the lights on. This creates this incredibly powerful incentive where success directly funds even more positive work. And this isn't just some idea floating around in the digital world. It's grounded in reality. The entire system is held up by a brand new legal framework that's specifically designed to recognize these RVPs and manage how the value they represent gets distributed. It's the legal backbone that makes the whole economic engine possible. Okay, so we've got the theory, we've got the multiplier, and we've got the proof. But what does this look like when it gets big? Let's walk through a hypothetical scenario from the source material just to see the mind-blowing potential here. So let's imagine this. The scenario starts with an input of $500 billion in what they call assurance capital. Picture this being invested across, say, 1,000 different regenerative projects by the year 2035. Now, remember that completion field effect from phase 2? Well, get this. The model projects that this initial capital
could start generating $2.4 trillion in new value every single year. That's not a one-time thing. We're talking about a continuous annual flow of regeneration. Now, factor in all three phases of that multiplier over a decade, and the total value created by the network could top $32 trillion. Let me just repeat that. All of that is generated from that initial $500 billion investment. That comes out to a staggering 64x multiplier effect on the initial capital. It's a complete 180-degree flip of the extractive, debt-based model that we started with. And this right here, this brings it all home. This is the ultimate contrast. We can move from the old model, where creating $1 of value actually costs us almost $3 in debt, to the ZYRO HIVE model, where investing $1 of capital can generate $64 of new, positive value. So you see, in the end, this isn't just a financial gadget. It's a complete four-layer system. It's a new way to structure organizations, a legal framework to protect them, a powerful economic engine to fund them, and a built-in ability for the entire network to learn and get smarter over time. And so that leaves us with this one final powerful question. What if we could actually change the fundamental logic of our economy? What if we could shift its very foundation away from extraction and towards regeneration? The question is this the blueprint that shows us how?